Too many people overlook the fact that today is all we got. Today is all we got. And I know it might just sound like a cliche that other people are saying, but it's real to me and it should be just as real to you. Today is all I got. Today is all I got. Every day I wake up, I remind myself, whether I say it verbally or say it mentally, Ramon, today is all you got. Today is all you got. Now, I want to rewind very quickly to contextualize the impact that this statement has on my life and should have on your life. So I was saved. I became a born again Christian. I got saved in a trap house 28 years ago on Saturday, October the 11th, 1997, after 4 days of being up in this drug-induced state. I had this supernatural encounter with Jesus Christ in the trap house, and my life changed forever. Up to that moment, which was 2 months shy of my 21st birthday, I lived my life, all of my teenage years, as a drug-addicted criminal. Point blank, period. I ain't saying nothing else to incriminate myself. I was a drug-addicted criminal. That means if I was not in jail, if I was free, I was getting high. Couple times being in jail, I was still getting high. Because sometimes the jail was just as worse as the streets, depending on who you knew and how you operated in there. But that's for another conversation. The point that I'm making is that I was a drug-addicted criminal. So that means I was getting high every day. My drug of choice was powder cocaine. I smoked cigarettes. I smoked anything. I drunk anything. Clubbed, ran the streets. I was a dope boy. I was a street hustler. That's the life that I lived all the way up to 2 months shy of my 21st birthday. But here's what happened. Once I got saved, once I had that spiritual experience, that supernatural encounter, I realized that the same temptation to get high came right back. The same temptation to go hit a lick. The same temptation to sell dope. The same temptation to sleep around. The same temptation to club. The same temptation to do dirt. It all came back. Yes, I was on this spiritual high for a couple of days. But after maybe a week or so, I realized that, what may have happened to me spiritually was not changing the fact that I was still having these cravings and these withdrawals mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physiologically, or physically. So what I had to learn to do is take each day and master it without worrying about how I was going to make it through the week, how I was going to make it through the month, how I was going to make it through the year. There were some days that I had to break them down into 15-minute quarters, 30-minute windows, 1 hour windows just to make it through. Many days in the early years of my sobriety and salvation, I had to wake up and say, God, if you could just keep me to lunchtime today. If I could just stay straight and clean and drug-free and crime-free. Days that I woke up and I was broke and I was struggling, and days that I just felt like was it even worth it? It felt like it wasn't even worth being saved. I had to find a way to make it through each day. And that's when I started to realize that today, Ramon, is all you got. Yesterday is gone. You're not promised tomorrow. But if you can find a way to harness yourself today, even if it's moment by moment, minute by minute, hour by hour, you can make it through today. But you got to be willing to give today everything you got. And so for the last 28 years, I ain't been perfect. There's some days I gave up. There's some days I threw in the towel. There's some days I decided in my mind, with my mouth, and in my life that day that it was a wrap. Maybe it ain't for me to be saved. Maybe it ain't for me to be clean. Maybe it ain't for me to be an entrepreneur. Maybe it ain't for me to be married. Maybe it ain't for me to be a father. Maybe it ain't for me to live. But even in the midst of those moments, those hours, those days that I just felt like wallowing in the mud of my misery and in my sorrow and in my unbelief and in my doubt and in my desire to want to give up, I had enough days that I made the most out of them, that I could pull some of that strength and make the decision that today is all I got. Listen, you're watching this video for a reason. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm a man of God. 28 years saved. I've been preaching the gospel for a quarter of a century, over 25 years. Faithful. I've been married over 22 years. I've been a pastor almost 20. I've been an entrepreneur for 22 years. And guess what? I get tired. I doubt. I have moments where I feel like maybe it ain't worth none of this. Maybe I'm delusional. But then I reset my mind to remind myself, Ramon, today is all you got. Today is all you got. So I'm going to give myself a shot. You're going to give yourself a shot. You're going to say, you know what? I didn't live up to my expectations yesterday. I didn't do what I knew I could have did. I fell off. And I don't even know what tomorrow going to be. I have no clue. I'm not even promised tomorrow. Matter of fact, Bible say don't even worry about tomorrow. Today got his own problems. But what I ain't going to do is miss an opportunity to make the most of today, because today is all I got. So I'm not saving no energy for tomorrow. I ain't saving no secret sauce for tomorrow. I ain't saving this conversation for next week. I ain't gonna put some of my reserves and some of my strength on hold until I get to another point. I am going to give God, I'm going to give myself, I'm going to give my family, and I'm going to give this day everything I got.